Good morning, welcome everyone. Happy Stronach 5 Friday. Happy
Yeah,
Friday
right.
as well, last day of the working week. Glad to have you with us. Naomi Tucker, Tim Tullock next to me this morning, and we got plenty coming your way. How are you doing today?
Great, great. Little rain this morning. Unfortunately, we're off the turf. The track is sloppy, but interesting card. Even though off the turf events have stayed pretty interesting, and a very, very interesting Stronach 5 today. Tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah, but you know what that means, right?
It's
High
going to get
payout.
high payouts and should be well played.
Yeah, it will be indeed. We'll talk about the sequence in just a second. As I highlighted, the Stronach 5 starts today with us in race number 7. Race number 8 at Gulfstream Park is leg B. Back with us again for race number 8. And then Golden Gate Field and Gulfstream Park. One of the best wagers across the United States. One of the lowest takeouts in the industry of 12% as well. And just pays out every single week, doesn't it?
It does. Only 4 winners last week, but it still paid $8,000 to each winner there, and yeah, it pays out. It's worth the bet, and always pays, always.
Yeah, and we do have some stakes action coming your way as well. The November stakes, aka tomorrow, 3 stakes races, 2 juvenile events as well, which is something I'm personally looking forward to. You know how much I love to see those juveniles, and definitely see a couple of familiar faces from Maryland Million Day. We got in the Smart Halo, we have a couple of ladies lining up, including the Maryland Million Lassie winner in Buff My Boots. So that's going to be a good race. And how about the James F. Lewis as well?
The James F. Lewis is a nice race. That's a very, very competitive race in the James F. Lewis for sure.
Yeah, and then 38 Go-Go as well for the fillies and mares 3-year-old and up, mile and 16. We do have a Steve Asmussen runner in there as well. He brings a couple over. We always like it when he comes over because they're very competitive.
Josie, going to be tough.
She will
be very tough.
She will be indeed. I did get the chance to speak to Troy Singh, the assistant trainer to Claudio Gonzalez, about Miss Leslie, and he was saying she's doing incredibly well. So I think we're in for a good race tomorrow.
We're in for a good card tomorrow for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. And also, of course, we have stakes coming up in 2 weekends from now as well. So not next week, but the week after. Thanksgiving weekend stakes. 5 stakes races, Tim. 450 grand in total over the space of 2 days.
Over the space of 2 days, Friday and Saturday. Friday, you've got the Politely for Maryland bred and Maryland sired fillies and mares, and the Howard and Sandra Bender. For 3-year-olds and up, Maryland sired and Maryland bred. And then Saturday, the Richard Small Stakes going a mile and an eighth for 3-year-olds and up. That's part of the match series. And then, of course, the City of Laurel Stakes going 7/8 mile for 3-year-olds, and Safely Kept going 7/8 mile for 3-year-old fillies. So, yeah, lots of stake action, and not to mention the Thursday before, your favorite part.
Yeah, no, we'll get to that in lightning round as well. I don't want to spoil the fun, but it's got to do with some very tasty pies. Let's have a look at the track conditions. You already mentioned it, Tim. We aren't on the turf today, and we have a currently sloppy main track. Of course, we'll keep everyone updated if it dries out.
Yeah, and it dries out pretty quick. I don't know how much sunshine we're going to get later. We'll need some sun to make it dry quicker, but it does drain quickly, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this back harrowed by the 3rd or 4th race. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, we'll make sure that if anything changes to the official going, we'll let you know. But I agree with you, Tim. What we've seen thus far is that the track dries out really fast. So we'll see where we're at when we're about 3-4 races in, and maybe even sooner. There was one day actually that within a race we ended up upgrading the track, and I was quite surprised. So terrific job by the track maintenance team here at the Maryland Jockey Club. We'll start with race number 1, start of the early pick 5.5 furlongs the distance on the main track. And Tim, you landed on a runner that I also use that does draw in from the AE list. That's number 14, Away to Return for trainer Damon DeLodovico. Look, hasn't run on the main track just yet, ran at Arlington Park on the synthetic, but is by Ghost Sapper, and we do know that Ghost Sappers run on anything.
Well, look, it gets off track for the first time, and this may be exactly what he wants, she wants. Cut out to love it. By Go Zapper, I have a big brown mare. Turf sprints have been good. The numbers are good. This horse may even get better. This filly may even get better on the off-going this afternoon. It'll work since that last race. But all her sprints are solid races with this group on the grass. I think she gets better on the off-track. I love Away to Return this afternoon in the opener.
I respect her as well, but I did land on one of the speedsters in here. Silver's Girl, she's only had one race to date.
Yep.
Had a high draw on debut, has a high draw today. Was bumped around a little bit, but still managed to use her speed. And she went really well that first quarter. I mean, maybe a bit too well, a bit too strong. She's up 23 for the quarter.
Yep.
Look, I like the cut back to 5.5. I think that works. And Xavier Perez kind of know what he's got with her as well. Maybe he'll be a bit more conservative.
Yeah, he got her out in her first start and got her going.
Yeah.
And she got a little bit late, but she's another one that could appreciate the off-going, and that the off-going may carry her. It will carry her a little bit farther. Whether it's going to be far enough, we'll find out. But certainly, I think she moves forward on the off-going. She certainly will move forward with that race up underneath her.
Yeah, I agree. I used the first time a starter in my exacta, the number 2. I can do it. Look, I just love her work tap coming in here. And if you look at Golden Years, young sire, small sample, 25% of first is hit first time out. That's 2 out of 9 as well as 5 out of those 9 placing. So this young sire is clearly off to a good start with his horses first out of the box.
Well, you can hear me say this a lot today. This one's another one that's cut out to handle the off track, even though she's making her very, very first start. We talked about Golden Years. Her dam was 5 for 15 with 6 seconds and a third, and she won over the slop. She's been working well up there at Pimlico, a nice gate work, 101 and change on October 31st, and came back with a sharp gate work on November 7th, 36 and 2 up there at Old Hilltop. If she gets way well down there toward the inside, at least she gets to break in between horses, and she can establish a lead because she looks like she's got good gate speed.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one that could be long gone.
Yeah, actually really intriguing race, this first
Yeah,
race.
it really does. It ended up being a great race.
Exactly. Even though we're off the turf, the race held together really well. Race number 2 is the start of the early pick 4. I decided to tackle this sequence today as Keith is not with us on the morning show. This is how I play it. I go 3 deep in every leg, but race number 4. Use the 1, the 3, and the 6 here in this optional claim as starter. I can make a case for all of them. And then in race 3, I go 2, 3, and 7. The 2 Combat Queen for Michael Trombetta, my top selection there. She's dropping steeply and came back with a good performance after a couple of months break. And then in race number 4, that's an off the turf event, but it really looks like this is gonna be Ziggy Mon's race. He's so tough to catch when he shakes loose, and his best performance have come on the main track, and that's exactly what we're on today. So to me, kind of stands head and shoulders above the field. Let's hope he warrants my faith in him. Race number 5, I used the 1, the 3, and the 6 there, who I like Hot to Party on the rail, but I do also like the number 3, Fearless Lassie. She's a bit of a price play for me, who I threw in there for trainer Anthony Aguirre. $13.50 to get you started here with that early pick 4 with a good bit of spread in all legs except my single on Ziggy Mon. So good luck to him. Let's start with this race number 2, optional claim starter allowance for fillies and mares, 6 furlongs the distance here. Tim, you landed on the number 3, Lucra, who I highly respect in this spot too. Oh, actually, I landed on the 3. Did that again. I've done that before.
I've done it plenty. Don't worry about it.
We do think alike quite frequently, don't we? But let's have a look at her last race where she was trying to come from the clouds. She was last all the way around, kept on going, runs every step of the way to try and get to the leader. But in the end, unfortunately, a bit too late for her.
Just couldn't get there. She was outrun pretty good in the first part of it. She swings out here 5 wide. She doesn't lose a whole lot of ground. Top of the stretch here, she gets out wide, but it's the same distance from the top of the stretch to the wire, whether you're on the inside rail or the outside rail. You lose ground on the turn. So not too much of loss of ground there, but she keeps on trying. I'm not sure how Bryson could see. He never pulled his shield down, but he was seeing good enough as you watch the replay.
Kept on going.
But she kept on going. Could not get to assume that particular day. But look, she's out of a Darn That Alarm mare. The off track should be okay for her. She's already run well back in April over a muddy track. She'll get a sloppy track. This will be probably sloppy or close to it by the second race. And she should have a decent pace to run at this afternoon.
That was my thoughts, exactly. Yep. Plenty of speeds there surrounding her to perhaps set it up for her. And fun fact, she is a full sister to Group 3 Mahab Al-Shamal winner drafted. He ran the same like she did. Also a grey, also comes from the clouds, and you just wonder if he's going to get there or not. So I thought that was quite interesting that the two of them show a particular affinity for those for that late closing running step. We'll talk about your top selection here. Behind the couch for trainer John Saltzman, Georgie Ruiz, look, had an incredible day yesterday. Three
Absolutely.
victories. Look, I am sure he's going to pick up another one today.
I think he will, and I think he's going to win the second race today. I like behind the couch, 9-2 on the line. She's my price play of the day. She's been running well on the main track. Now, she's been on the back and forth between the main track and the turf. But when you look at her main track races, like her race 2 starts ago, where she ran 4, she got beat 6 lengths that day, but she ran a really good number. You go back farther this summer at Pimlico, a big race there on the main track, and that's starter 25, same race she's in today, got the job done there. Ran a big figure that day. And she's 1 for 4 with 2 seconds on and off track by Awesome again. And out of a tap at mare, she will be better again this afternoon. Look at that speed figure she ran when she ran on the off track, an 80. If she runs back to that, they'll be running for second. I probably won't get my price on this one anymore, but I'm going to stick with behind the couch with the red hot Georgie Ruiz.
Yeah, I definitely give her a good chance in here. Let's hope she doesn't win, though, because that might not work out for my early pick 4. We'll see how that pans out, of course, in the first leg. Race number 3, optional claimant starter allowance as well. 4 fillies and mares, 3-year-old and up. 7 furlongs at the distance here. Do you see a couple of form lines intertwining in this field? We'll start with the number 3, Memphis Mafia. We both use her underneath. We do have a video spotlight of her last race. Look, I thought she got a lovely trip behind the pacemakers right there. Did take plenty of dirt in her face, as you can see, but that didn't deter her. She kept on going. She gained second. Now, Victorious Hope Has a Name ran a career best on that day. Now, we do see Hope Has a Name come back in the race before, so it'll probably be a good indicator to see how she does.
It will be a good indicator to when we see how Hope Has a Name runs in the second race. But this was a nice race. I mean, she laid by. She broke well. She broke on top. And then she just kind of laid behind the speed. I thought she was going right by in the stretch, just could not get there. Ends up running second. Wasn't going to get by Hope Has a Name that day. Hope Has a Name was very, very good that particular day. But you go back further on her form, you're going to see a couple good races. And one of those good races was on and off track right here, going 7/8 of a mile at Laurel Park, where she ran a good figure and galloped that day well, breaking her maiden. So I'm going to take Memphis Mafia, and she likes 7/8, and she's 2 starts a win and a second. She'll deal with the offgoing, and she's 8-5 on the board. I don't have her on top.
On the morning line.
On the morning line.
Yeah.
I don't have her top. I have her in the mix, as you do. But that was a good race there for Memphis Mafia.
Yeah. I landed on number 2, Combat Queen, on top for trainer Michael Trombetta. Look, I thought she came back with a good performance, multiple month layoff. She dropped steeply in class from that Maryland-bred allowance level. I like that she's got a bit of fitness now going for her. Ran into a very tough Princess Kokaching. We know how good she's been as of late. I think this could work out for her here.
I think so. It's a little bit of a class relief into the 2 lifetime. But not only Princess Kokaching, in her last race, she ran into Hibiscus Punch. She ran into Hydra, Vic's Cool Cat, all fillies that were doing very, very well. All fillies that would come out of those races and win again when she was running behind them. Good, solid figures. Been solid on the off-going, winless, but she does have a second and a 2/3 from 3 starts. So, look, she's getting some relief. A couple work since it very well might work for Combat Queen, who I have in my exact.
Yeah, you have Mending on top here. Went against Memphis Mafia. She was the one that actually got stuck in a bit of a pace duel with Hope Has a Name, who, like we mentioned, is going to be running around race earlier. Wonder if she's going to be able to get the lead. I think she will, but she won't be lonely there. I think she's going to have some company, but she's shown that she can still hold on to a check despite battling.
Yeah, I think she'll get to the lead. She might have some company, but, you know, I like speed from the outside. Second time for Farrier today. Life best in her last race, while stepping up from the 2 for 10 to the 2 for 25. And she likes the off-going. Now, the number isn't good, but she's better than she should be better than that on the off-going. By Go Zapper, out of that Quiet American mare. She should handle the sloppy track. When she ran on the track with moisture, it was rated good. It was Keeneland. It was a maiden 30. There's still tough races. She still ran second. Just wasn't a good figure. So I think she will get to the lead, and the off-going will carry her a long way.
I think it's a bit of an open race in race 3 as well. We got plenty of deep fields to figure out in here. Race number 4, 2 other than optional claimer, 5.5 furlongs on the main track. Start of the Rainbow Pick 6 as well. We did have Callie Francois create a ticket for us. Let's see how she plays. She also kind of spreads here. I kind of agree with her. It's a tricky day to really narrow down a single. I got one with Ziggy Mon, but aside from that, I didn't see one either. She loses the 4, the 7, and the 10 in this spot. I like Ziggy Mon in this spot, the single, but she probably thinks that perhaps a little bit more going on for some of the other horses as well. And then race number 5, she goes too deep using the 1 and the 6, Hot to Party, as well as Ada Bell. And then in race number 6, 1, 5, and 10 for her. I like that she put Ballot Rocks in there for Jeffrey Engel. I didn't get the chance to get to him, so really intrigued by him as well. And then in race number 6, she goes 7, 1, 2, and 6 in that Fillies and Mares maiden 10 race. Also my top 3, so I agree with her there. Race number 8, 9, and 10, and hopefully in the nightcap we are still kicking and strong. The number 2, Grecian Pharaoh, she used, as well as the number 9, Prince of Caps for trainer Claudio Gonzalez on the outside. $64.80 for your Rainbow Pick 6, which does start in race number 4. Have a good look at some of the scratches because we are on the main track as well. As we'll have a look at this field, Tim, and you and I landed on Ziggy Mon. I said it before, he's my single in the early pick 4. I think he's the fastest of the field. He's best on the main trail. Then he held his own on the turf.
Yeah, he did.
Finds a nice off the turf race here, and is projected to be the speed. And if he kicks clear, he's going to be really tough to catch.
Already a winner at this level, and now he gets in this level in an off the turf event, which is almost a drop in class for him. Has been running solid races with solid numbers, a lifetime best in his last race, so you know he's in good form. But I agree. I think he's the speed of the speed. I mean, he's going to get to the front and probably will go all the way. I don't know who would tangle with him early or would want to.
Well, that's the question. Would you want to?
No, that's the question. Sometimes running second isn't bad. Why hurt it for yourself and everybody else? But look, he's going to be going for the lead. There's no doubt about that. And he looks very tough here. Figures stand above. Good on off tracks with a win, 3 seconds and a third, and a good figure sitting there. So he's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think so as well. But you have some interest in one of the AE runners drawing in here. Where Paralyzed Lay with Jamie Rodriguez aboard here. Comes off a strong third at Delaware. We're running a decent figure, moving into a good enough pace as well at open company allowance level. Look, he's kind of kept that right company up on that Delaware circuit as well.
He has, and he's stepping in to 2 other than for the first time of his career today. So he's stepping up, but he's stepping up in the right situation. And off the turf event, I mean, he runs into Ziggy Mon, which is a shame for him. But it's a good spot to try the 2 other than off a turf event, so it's a little bit softer. This is a horse who absolutely relishes the off going. Buy into mischief out of a Candy Ride mare. He's 3 for 5 with 2 seconds, a big figure sitting there, 88. And he's been consistently good this year. Now, he hasn't found the winner's circle this year at all in 10 starts, but he's been 8 times second and third, running good enough numbers. The off track this afternoon might be enough to push him even a little bit forward. So more forward. So I have him in my exact. I like him on the outside there.
I like it. I like that you picked up on him. I kind of overlooked him ever so slightly on the off the turf record because that is stellar. So we'll see if the track is still playing to his advantage though by the time this race comes around. I landed on Dalton, the number 1 for Jorge Duarte Jr. Javian Toledo. Look, this 3-year-old will need to stay close, perhaps ride Ziggy Mon's tail a little bit and then try to overtake him in the latter stages. Look, I feel like there's a case to be made here, but he will have to come with his best race possibly today. But look, he's been in stakes company. He ran really, really strongly to No Sense, and as well as picking time in the Smoke Glacken at Monmouth. This is, a horse that I think still has something left in terms of improvement.
Yeah, 3-year-old, good race 2 back before he went on the shelf just for a little while. He was off from July to September. This will be second off of a layoff. He'll be taking on 2 other thans for the second time. He's had a few works since then for Georgia Duarte up there at Colton's Neck's training stable. But don't worry about the works. The works at Colton's Neck are never fast. And Georgie always shows up. His horses are ready. They win. He's winning at 21%. He's going to need a big effort, I think.
Yeah, no,
I think
I
he's
agree with you
sure.
completely there. Yes.
And he's going to be outrun early. It looks like maybe he tries to use some of his speed that he showed earlier last year, but he hasn't shown that speed since this past May at Park. So he's going to have to find that speed this afternoon to keep up.
I hope that he will. But look, it's a challenge. Ziggy Mon seemingly stands above the rest. So let's hope he rewards our confidence today. He is my single for a reason. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with the other races coming your way, as well as, of course, the Stronach 5. Welcome back to Laurel Park. We're on race number 5. Nicole Claim is nominated to Lifetime for the ladies. 6.5 furlong the distance. Tim, you landed on Adabel. Now, we do have a video replay of her last outing, which in my books was definitely a fair bit better than the form line might suggest, because she looked really, really good. And she just kind of got unlucky that the cavalry with the blanket charge kind of came, and that she just kind of got on the worst end of that and ended up finishing 5th.
Yeah, this is the best 5th place finish you'll ever see in your life.
Right?
Right?
Exactly.
I mean, she is just absolutely digging down there. She's trying her heart out. She just gets caught by horses on the inside and horses on the outside. It's not because she wasn't trying. She was trying all the way down there. I thought that was a good race. She's run 3 good races in a row. Going back to that race at Timonium, where she only got beat 3/4 length while running second, and came back and ran second again. 5th in that last race, but that was a big effort. And if she can come back with that type of effort and a little bit more improvement, which I think could happen today, it could be good enough for Adabel.
I think they're all kind of closely matched in this field. So I landed using a price play with the number 3 Fearless Lassie. I think she might just get a lovely stalking trip, or even try to go forward again, because she opened up in her last race over 7 in hand, looked very, very good. Really kind of unfortunate. She tired in the later stages. The horse kind of came over. She clipped and tumbled down. Look, I'm giving her a chance to come back here and hopefully get a cleaner trip, right? I did think
she can't get much dirtier.
I did think that I liked what I saw before the incident. I think she can make amends here. 6.5 furlongs. I think that helps her, because she did show that abundance of speed. Now just half a furlong to go less. And like I said, even if you look at the speed figures, they're all kind of, evenly matched. You can kind of take turns winning. So I wanted to go with the price play in this field.
I mean, she's 5-2 on the line. She's going to take some money. She was close to favorite in her last start. She was running a very, very good race. She got tired late. She went pretty quick, going 7/8 of a mile for this type early. And certainly got tired. But her 2 previous races were good efforts. You go back to September, that was a nice race while running second behind Supreme Blessing. She comes back again, a 6th place finish, but she only gets beat to 2 lengths. We'll see if the off track will carry her a little bit. I think it will on the bottom side. Certainly Jumpstart by AP Indy. It should help her out a little bit. The one time we see that she's run on a sloppy track was going long. I think you probably throw that out.
Because that's not her distance.
That's not her distance.
Doesn't work for her.
And if the racetrack remains sloppy, again, it could carry her a little bit further.
Agreed. I did land on the number 1 Hot to Party as well. Got her first victory last out when sort of a good aggressive early overtake and then just dominated. Now look, first time against winners. This is not the toughest of group, it feels like, for this level. This seems like a good group to first time go against, experienced horses.
It is. And this one's had steady improvement since getting into the Ned Allard barn. Every race has been a little bit better. Got that win in the maiden 5. Comes back in the 2 for 5. This is the appropriate spot. It's had a work since that race. Gets Carol Cedeno once again. So, yeah, I mean, why not? I know it's first against winners, but this is a good spot for her.
I agree with you here. Race number 6, mile and 16 on the dirt here. Optional claimer 3 other than. We got a couple of tough knocking runners in this spot. But Tim, you and I landed on the same runner further towards the outside. Zabra Cadabra for trainer Gary Capuano. And look, benefit of the outside draw with speed. We said this before. We like that angle. had no problem seeing out the distance, has been capable of dugging in deep late towards the second wire over the one-turn mile here, which I always like to see a horse that really dugs in deep, especially in the later stages, is perhaps looking a little bit to kind of regain some of the form that he showed. But I didn't think that the John B. Campbell race was that bad of a performance. Tried to take them all the way, was honest, splits in front. He wasn't holding back. I like him in this spot here.
Yeah, I do too. Second off layoff for Gary Capuano, that's about 18%. Probably a little bit of a disappointment in return in that race at Delaware, but you can almost expect this one will be better today for Gary back here at Laurel. Likes it here at Laurel, has run well on off tracks. And look, you can pick up about 4 of those races in between October of 2020 and February 2021, all good enough to win here today. Now he's going to have to get back to that form, but not completely. I don't think he has to run back to those that high 89s or high 80s. If he can run back to an 80, 79, 80, that's going to be good enough.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. So I used the horse on his inside in second, and no, we'll get to you 5 in just a second. I mean, Working on a Dream ran second behind multiple stakes winner Harper's First Ride in June this year. I thought that was a decent performance. Look, after that, he went on the turf. Then they gave him a break. He does have to kind of jump back up to that kind of level, but I don't see why not in a field that perhaps is not coming up super, super strong.
Well, you look at his form. His form cycle says he'll show up today. He wins, he runs a bad race, he wins, he runs a bad race, he just gets beat while running second, runs a bad race. He should run well today because he will fire a good race from time to time, as we see on his form with good, solid numbers. He just doesn't do it 2 times in a row.
It's a cyclical kind of form, right? Up and down, up and down.
One time he came back and ran back a little bit like that. It was January and February last year. But other than that, he doesn't run 2 good ones in a row. He has a hard time putting them, pairing them up and putting them back to back. But look, he works in here. The figures work in here, and some of the races work in here.
Yeah, I agree. I do like the number 5 Midnight Act as well. I have him underneath myself here for Flint Stats. Look, comes at the back of a win, starts at allowance at Delaware. That was one of his higher performances, kind of a return to form as well in a way. I've been running decent enough, but this kind of sealed the deal to show that he's really back on that upward curve that we need to see.
It is. That was a good race at Delaware Park. He got the job done, ran a solid figure. Go back to Parks earlier this year, you'll see some good races. Starter 8,000 and starter 16,000, good races. The biggest attraction to Midnight Act is he absolutely loves an off track. 12 starts, 4 wins, 5 seconds, and a third. A big figure sitting there. His lifetime best is on an off track. So yes, Midnight Act certainly is in the mix here.
He is very experienced. 41 starts and 12 of those on the off going, and he loves it. Like you said. So let's hope he gets the conditions that he desired as we'll move along to race number 7. Maiden Claimers at Fillies and Mares, 3, 4, and 5-year-old. Of course, the start of the Stronach 5 today. And Tim, I'm going to leave this all to you. You had another look at the entire sequence. It's not an easy one. I heard you huffing and puffing in the office.
I was. It's a tough go. It's a very, very tough go. But spread as much as you can. I only had about 108 to spend, so that's all I spent. I go 3 deep in this maiden 10 to kick it off in leg A here at Laurel Park. I wanted to go deeper. I had to trim, and this is a race I felt the most confident to trim. 1, 2, 6 in leg A. In leg B, that's Gulfstream Park. This race is wide open to me. It's a starter optional. I go 4 deep there. I use the favorite, the 1, Peter D at 9 to 5, but I also use the 3 outside horses, the 7, the 8, and the 9. My single comes in race 8 here at Laurel Park, and that is on Brittany Russell's second-time starter, Midnight. If I can turn my page, Middle Island, second time out, little trouble at the break. We're going to talk about that in a minute. In leg E, I go D, I go 1, 3, 8, and in leg E, 4, 7, 10 to round that out.
And this is a non-easy sequence, but that means the payoff, the likelihood of a significant payout is much more imminent because of the skill level involved, trying to accurately spot what is going on at all those different tracks. We've said that before. Learn the circuits at Golden Gate Fields, the circuit in Florida at Gulfstream Park. When Santa Anita is in play, Santa Anita, like as a handicapper, this is a terrific way of learning what is what, which jockeys are hot, which jockeys ride certain circuits or distance the best, and be able to then get the payout for your skills. A terrific wager here, starting in race number 7, that maiden 10 field, 6 furlongs the distance here. And look, we use similar horses. Yeah. It's not an easy field. We'll start with your top selection in here, which is the number 6, time after time for trainer Michael Trombetta. If you have the older cuts, which I did, blinkers were on last time out and are on today. First time at the main track, second time for Trombetta, who actually hits at a really decent 15% with his second time starts. Is from a good sample from about 100 runners as well. He's got a big barn running all over the US, of course. And look, I don't know if you looked at her breeding, but she's out of a half sister to Never Enough Time, Alma North Stakes victress, also trained by Michael Trombetta. So always love that kind of background angle of a trainer, knowing the family, know what they like to do.
Yeah, and this one's getting what it wants. It's getting dropping class. Most of them want that. But getting on the main track, I think it's going to make all the difference. Had no answer on the turf, laid reasonably close early, and really at the end of the day didn't run terrible, but it wasn't going to work on the grass at that level. But gets the drop today, Mike, 26%. When he takes one from the turf to the dirt, work since then, and I just think this will work for time after time in race 7.
Yeah, I use her in my exacta. I land on the number 1, Moon Biz, also dropping down to the lowest level that she's ever seen. Only her third start, did show early interest on both occasions. Now returns back to the main track, a turf try with a little bit more fitness for Kieran McGee, who has been doing well overall in 2021. Perhaps, decent enough in here, but maybe not as hot as he sometimes is. Kind of goes up and down. But look, I like her here, and I think that Moon Biz, look, she's going to have to go probably from that inside draw, but Carlos Lopez is definitely going to make sure that she gets out there.
Well, the theme of this whole race is get off the grass and drop. I mean, that's basically there's 2 or 3, 4 of them in here doing the same thing. Look, coming off a brief freshening, 2 decent works for this type in the meantime. Kieran pretty good off that kind of freshening, about 28%. So everything works there, turf to dirt, 27%. But you're right, the break's going to be everything for Moonbiz here this afternoon.
Yeah, and we'll move along to race number 8. Look, not an easy race, race 7.
No.
You went deep in that race, but then you singled this spot.
I do.
Let's have a look at the video spotlight that you pulled off, because there's a lot going on in that video spotlight.
There's a lot going on in this video. We're going to start with Middle Island, who does not get away. Almost half stands there, almost dwelt in a way. It was a half a dwelt. As you see him, he's got his legs spread. He stands for that brief second and then comes along. I have confidence that Brittany has fixed that. So there he goes. He loses a lot of ground. And we're going to pick this one up at the 3/8 pole here in a minute. Now, you're going to see Middle Island make a big middle move, maybe too big. He's moving on the outside there. And then you've got
I Can Run as well as Estate
on the inside. And you have Estate also right there, the 5 horse in between horses. So there they are, the 2 on the inside, the 5 moving to the outside of the 4. Middle Island, my top pick, and they all keep on chugging all the way through the stretch. Now here comes I Can Run up in between horses. Middle Island is getting tired from earlier efforts, and Estate stayed on that left lead all the way through the lane, and a bit green. All 3 of them ran very, very good races. Couldn't beat Prepare to Take Off that day, but they match up again here this afternoon, and I land on Middle Island because I think he will get away better, and if he does, he doesn't have to use himself so much in the middle part of the race. Of course, Brittany Russell about 31%, second time out of the box, a work sense there. I just think there's everything looks good for Middle Island this afternoon. Breaking from the outside, he won't have to stand in there long, so hopefully he comes out of there sharp enough, gets himself in a good position outside of horses and finishes up.
Yeah, I agree, and I use Estate because I thought it was green. He's got plenty of ability left in terms of hopefully getting that race experience on board. And then I threw in the number 5, Derwin Starlet, quickly because I thought Tim Keefe does very well with his second-time starters as well. And that first race wasn't that bad of an experience either. As we'll move along to the final race on the card here, that is race number 9. As we're going the one-turn mile here on the main track. And Tim, you landed on the 2. I have the 2 in my exact here. Grecian Pharaoh for Bob Klasaris comes off the back of a win on the turf. Has been running very decently on the turf. Has some off the turf experience, and that's kind of what we're keying around here.
Yeah, winner 2 of his last 3. One of those was on a good track, good main track at the Pimlico, where he did break his maiden for 16. Has come right back in the right spots, 2 for 16, and has run well. And now he's in this 3 for 16 this afternoon.
Yeah, I use Prince of Caps. Claudio Gonzalez has been really heating up here as of late. Has overtaken Brittany Russell in the leader standings, as we'll just get to as well. I think he's going to like this too, and has shown a good bit of propensity on the main track too. A bit further back, November last year, where he did pretty well with a 66 buyer. You have him underneath.
Yeah, I have him up underneath, and you know the Claudio Gonzalez horses you always have to be aware of, and he's got that good number going back over a year at Aqueduct on a main track. That had moisture in it, so that's always a good sign.
Yeah, so we'll move on to lightning round. We'll quickly run you through the standings. Javian Toledo still leads to it, but Georgie Ruiz trying to get him with that triple that he rode yesterday. We got a deep jockey calling Horatio Caramans, Angel Cruz, JD Acosta. Look, they're all riding incredibly well, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, and then you even go down the list. Forrest Boyce is riding great. Michael Sanchez riding very, very well, and they just keep going on and on and on. This is a very, very competitive jockey colony. And I will say, having been here for a long time, this is the deepest colony we've had here for a long time. If you can't go 10 or 12 deep at this colony and find a rider you can be happy with, then you're not looking, because they're there and there's a bunch of good riders.
I think you put that incredibly well. And of course, Claudio Gonzalez is really heating up, has overtaken Brittany Russell as the leading trainer. Bit of a slower start to me than we normally expect, but look, he's got the firepower and he's sending them out, and also loaded with 2-year-olds. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how he'll fare tomorrow as well. He's got, of course, Miss Leslie in the 38 Go-Go, and then Slats in the James F. Lewis. We already talked about the Stronach 5. Happy Stronach 5 there. Oh, you wanted to...
Yeah, no, Claudio will always win the war of attrition. I mean, you just can't. You just can't.
He has the numbers and he places them in good spots as well. So yeah, happy Stronach 5 Friday. Of course, I already mentioned Georgie Ruiz rode 3 winners yesterday. We were looking at Confusion Baby Boy in race 4, and we're looking here at Francis X in race number 6. And of course, Kenny had a notion coming up after that.
Yeah, and this is a horse he picked up. He picked up Francis X because Mr. Arado got injured earlier in the day. So he picked this. This was a pickup mount, and then he comes back with Kenny Had a Notion. Great ride on Kenny Had a Notion. Here this one comes, and Kenny was up in the bridle early and swept him to the outside. He saved ground all the way around there, gets him to the outside, and he just comes with a big run here. This is another guy who just rides very, very well. Dirt or turf, it doesn't matter. He comes through for you. And the combination of Capuano and Ruiz has been very, very tough.
They have been an incredible team together, racking up the victories. And yeah, Kenny Had a Notion back to winning ways. It took him a little while, but you were right. You called it. You said he's going to absolutely enjoy it yesterday, and he did. He put his head down and gunned for it. So congratulations to goes to Capuano, Bon, as well as all the connections. And then the most important topic of today's lightning round. On Thanksgiving Day, what can you pick up here at the Maryland Jockey Club?
You get your free pie. Come on in with a program purchase while supplies last. We'll have donuts, coffee, cider, hot chocolates, the Thanksgiving Day buffet, just in case you want a little blowout before the big meal later in the day. Go to laurelpark.com/Thanksgiving. Come out and join us early, 11:25 post. You come out, enjoy the races, maybe make a little money. just have a couple little sips of something and warm yourself up for the in-laws and the family when you get back home. And hopefully you cash out some tickets, but you will leave with a pie.
I will be lining up to get a pie. I'd love some pumpkin pie if anyone wants to hold one behind for me. Really looking forward to this Thanksgiving week, 2 weeks from now. And that will do it for us this morning, but we'll be back in just about 5 minutes from now.
Yeah, if I ask for a pie, I'd get nothing. You ask for a pie, and they'll be lined up outside the door, ready to deliver. Good luck, everybody.
I don't mind that. Good luck, everyone.